Thank you. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. This has been a lot of fun. So I'll introduce myself a little bit more. I grew up out here in Southern California, but I live in the Midwest now, just outside of Omaha, where I teach. That's kind of my contact information. Most of it, that YouTube channel doesn't stay up to date. It's really if I have something for my class that I need to put online. I put on there, but you can check it out. There's some things on there too. Some of the scripts I'm using and things like that, if you want them, I didn't post them on the talk page. The slideshow is, though, so you can always download the slideshow from there. But if you want my scripts and things that I kind of mention, you can email me and I can send those to you. All right, talk about how I got here first. Why am I giving this talk? It started in 2001 when I installed my first version of Linux. It was Red Hat Linux that I bought at CompUSA off the shelf. And anyway, that's what started it all. And I started a job that I pretty much automated. And so I got pretty bored at the job. And I had recently jumped in the whole Linux scene, and I learned how to SSH. And I started SSHing to my computer at home, and I really loved that, and I thought that was really fantastic. And I go like, what can I do with this now? I really didn't know how to do much. And I go like, I wonder, I'm not allowed to check my personal email at work, but it's okay if I'm SSHing to my home and doing it, right? Sure, okay. And so I figured out how to do that in a terminal through SSH shell. And then I go, let's see how far I can push this, right? I go, you know, this is back in the early 2000s, and so there wasn't any Spotify wasn't around and things like that. But I had a large collection of MP3s. I go, can I stream my music that's on my home computer to my work computer while I'm working? Yeah, and I figured it out, how to do that, right? And then I really tried to push the limit here. And something I probably shouldn't have done, but I did anyways, because it was a great experiment and good learning process, is I got, can I watch TV at work? Right? And so back in the day, they had these TV cards that you can put in, PCI slot, in your computer, and it had a coaxial cable, and I could plug my cable right into the coaxial cable and then pull the screen. I go like, can I stream that through SSH? Through a terminal over to my work, and I could, of course. And I did it once or twice, and then I was kind of done. I moved on to something else. I got really bored with my job, so I started applying for other positions. I go like, can I work on my resume at work, but on my computer at home in a Word document? Like, how do I do that, right? And I figured it out. I was able to build my resume while at this work, looking for another job, but working strictly in the terminal and building a resume. And created a doc file and a PDF out of it that I can then submit, which I can send through email, through anyway, and it all was great. And that's how I came this love and this passion for working in the terminal. So that's kind of how I got here. All right, so now what to kind of expect a little bit here is I'm really just focusing on desktop tasks. Right? Things you do on a desktop, things that are normally done in a GUI, and how to maybe transition them to a command line. And the other thing, when I'm talking about command line, terminal shell, I'm kind of lumping all those things together, even though there is distinct differences between those terms, but I'm kind of meshing them all together. There will be examples. There'll be links to every application that I'm showing. And these things are just I'm using. There are plenty of other applications out there that do some similar things. But anyway, that's kind of what to expect. And hopefully, you walk away with one or two things that you can transition into a terminal that you're currently doing in a GUI. Okay, that's kind of my objective. And I will say there are one or two slides that are wrong that I just found out about, so I'll kind of call those out when those are presented. So let's kind of get started here and dive in. All right, the first thing, I'm going to spend some time talking about documents, because I think this is one of the trickiest ones. And it's probably one of the most common desktop functions that people do is working with documents and different formats of documents. And how do you translate that into the command line or into a terminal, right? And unfortunately, the dominant format is usually DocX. Microsoft Word is still widely used in that format. And so we need to understand what a .docx file is. And basically, it's just an XML file that's zipped up with a bunch of other files for formatting and the images and everything else. And so we can unzip that, and we can directly edit the XML if we're comfortable with that. And I'll kind of show you here. Let me see if I can demonstrate some of this here and show you. What did I want to go into? So if I go into here. All right, so I just have some sample files here. Hopefully you guys can see that. I changed the theme in my terminal, so hopefully it's a little more visible. I usually like a black background on here. So let me just find my notes, make sure I'm doing this right. All right, so the first thing is we can look and analyze using ZipInfo to look at this document. So we'll look at the sample3 document. And we can see what's in actually a docx file right there. The main document that we're looking at is right here, is this document XML, is the main context. Everything else is styling and images you can see here. So there's certain meta images and themes. There's an image that's inserted into this document. Here, I'll actually show you what the document looks like. I'm an old man, so my eyes are bad, and they made me use this resolution, so I apologize. So we'll kind of open this up. Okay, take a look at what this list looks like here. So as you can see, this is in documents. There's some links and everything else that is in there. And so then what you can do is you can just literally edit the XML if you want to. And that gets a little tedious to me, particularly if you're just kind of doing small updates to documents and things like that. But eventually you can, and then you can zip it back up, and you can have something like this. And you can see you can see here I did edit it. I edited it in Vim, and I did change part of the document right there. That shows that's my little edit contribution to this document. And you can see it still keeps your list, it keeps links, it keeps your images and everything else, and you're able to have a Word document, just like that. All right. Now, one big tool, and I'm going to be talking about this a lot, is Pandoc. Pandoc is an amazing tool, and it's a conversion tool. It allows you to convert into lots of different types of formats. And what we're trying to do is convert into something we can manage in a text editor, right? Manage it there and then convert it back. And so Pandoc is great for this. I prefer using Markdown. It's just super simple, easy, and convenient. So I really enjoy just putting in a Markdown. Actually, several of my assignments and labs that I put together, I do use Pandoc. I create everything in Markdown. It's really simple, and then I convert it to docx. And my students have no idea. You know, they just open it up in their word processor and manage it that way. So I have some of the commands there that we actually use for that. Now, conversion isn't perfect, particularly if you're going from docx to Markdown back to docx. Things get a little wonky, but you know, it's okay. So mileage kind of varies a little bit here. I can show you, well, here's Markdown. I can show you in the terminal here. So I have one of the Markdowns here on what it looks like. I'm just a Vim user, so. So you see, this is pretty readable, right? For the document, even does tables and everything else. And so you can really edit this fairly quickly and easily. And you come up and I'll show you what it converted to when I went through Pandoc here. And you'll see some differences here. Notice the sample, the header up here, is not red anymore, right? And it's more centered. So kind of a small Small little conversion there, but some of the headings seem to be pretty good. The lists seem to be pretty good. Links still are links and work. Even you got the images still embedded in there. One thing that doesn't work, I'll show you, here's the columns. Columns seem to be kind of tough. And so you see we didn't really get our columns down there. But pretty close, right? Close enough, maybe. I don't know if it's good enough. Depends on your need, your use case. So Pandoc is great to be able to do these type of things. Now, if you want something with better formatting, LaTeX, I know I called this LaTeX for a long time, but I guess the proper pronunciation is LaTeX. LaTeX is a great document preparation system. It does take, there's a bit of a learning curve to it, but you can create some beautiful documentation with this. It doesn't convert directly to DocX, but it does great PDFs. And highly recommend it. And I give you some commands there on how to convert to different documents with that. So if LaTeX is kind of overwhelming, because it is, there's a bit of a learning curve, Overleaf is a great tool to have. If you go to this is a website that has tons of submissions of LaTeX templates that you can use, so you can download anything from reports to flyers to books. Anyway, all types of formats and constructs and templates that you can use and download and then create PDFs from. And so basically you just download those, edit them in a text editor, what you need to edit. All the theming is already done for you and everything else. And voila, you have some beautiful PDF and beautiful documents using Overleaf. How am I doing on time here? Because I got lots of things to go through. Okay, I'm actually a little behind here. So I'm going to pick up the pace a little. Slow me down if you need me to slow down. But like I said, these slides are available. LibreOffice is great. Did everyone know LibreOffice had a headless mode where you can use LibreOffice in the terminal? Right. So you can use LibreOffice in the terminal to convert documents to different types of formats. Anything that LibreOffice supports. And it's really awesome and really cool. So you can take any type of DocX or HTML and change it to ODT or to a PDF and whatever else you want and back and forward, and it works really well. So if you're okay with DocBook or HTML, HTML is another good format too to create your documents in and then convert over to a PDF or to a document or something like that. And LibreOffice does that. And so there are some commands that you can use to be able to use that, and it works really great. So I'm going to be bringing up LibreOffice a bit for a few other documents as well. It's Pandoc. Another conversion tool is Uniconv. I think that's how it's spelled. And this converts to a lot of different formats and works really, really well as well to convert different type of document. If you're not concerned about really reproducing anything and you just want to read documents, DocX to text is really good. It doesn't support graphics at all or formatting and anything, but if you just need to read the contents of a Word document, it's a great tool to have. And of course, PDF to text, so if you get PDFs and you need to read PDFs, you can do that. I'm going to show you later how you can actually just view the actual PDF in the terminal later, instead of just converting it into text. If you need older formats supported, here are some great tools that actually allow you to work with older formats as well. Okay, I got 52 slides. I'm on slide 14, and I'm really behind. So anyway, if I don't finish, that's fine. Hopefully I've taught you something. Now, let's get to some fun stuff, like viewing images. How do we view images in a terminal? So TIV is one I've just recently found. Let me demonstrate that here real quick. And I'm going to use the Kitty terminal. Has anyone heard of the Kitty terminal? Kind of fun. GPU supported. Has these little like supporting applications, I guess, called kittens, all very cute. And one of those kittens is called iCat, where you can view images and videos. And we're going to stream YouTube in a terminal, very clearly high-resolution YouTube videos. I'll show you that later. That's kind of one I'll definitely cover before we end here. So let me kind of show you that, just to show you what it looks like. Now, TIV isn't I don't know if it's pronounced TIV or TIV. Oh, I forgot, I'm already in it. Okay, so I have 2 pictures here. We can look at that here. We'll look at Bill, one of my heroes there, Bill Joy, right? Creator of VI. Now, a bit pixelated, right? Not perfect, but let's look at the iCat now and what iCat can do here in the Kitty terminal. And this time we'll look at Grace, another hero of mine. Good old Grace Hopper. Look at that. That's pretty good, right? That's as clear can be, right? So, this command's a lot longer than what I did. This will actually, this kind of puts placement and size on your document. You can see that Grace Hopper photo really was big, and you had to scroll up to see it. So you can actually scale it down a little bit with that command. Another cool feature is Ranger. Anyone use Ranger? Ranger's tons of, it's a file manager, right? But it has these plugins that you can add to it for document viewing, which is really cool. So you can look at PDFs, you can look at Word documents, you can look at and what's in there as you're viewing it. And it's a great tool, and I think it has to be supported by every distro that I would think. So let's just look at Ranger here, and I can kind of show you a little bit of what I mean. So as we go kind of through these, like for instance, let me go to the pictures here. See, I can see the pictures in here as I'm scrolling through these. I can do that. If I have these documents here, I can start viewing some of these documents. See how the documents are popping up and everything, and you're just viewing them and things like this. So Ranger's really powerful, really kind of cool. It's meant to be a file manager, but you can also view documents with it as well. So kind of very cool. Love that. Now, we're talking more about word processing and document processing. We need to have other features, right? Because when you open up word processing, there's spell check, dictionary check, grammar checking, and all this other kind of stuff. Well, we can use that too, because I can't spell for squat. You'll see I'm a little dyslexic. You'll see that in some of my slides here, which I didn't correct. And that's where some of the mistakes are. And anyway, these come in very, very powerful tools to be able to do those dictionaries. How am I doing on time? Because I can do demonstrations, but I also don't want to take all the time here. I'm going to kind of just, you can trust the slide here for this. So anyway, very fun. I am a Vim user, so and I've just switched over to NeoVim, but it has this great spell checker that's built in right in. Like literally it highlights the word that's misspelled. You can jump right to it. You can pick the correct spelling of the word. Boom, it corrects the spelling, and just really kind of cool tool. One thing that was really tough to find, and there's some other, these are kind of some other really cool ones I used to use before, but is grammar check. Grammar check was something that always, and I'm poor grammar too. So this is a wonderful tool I just found recently. It's called Grandma, and it works really well. So when you have these text documents, you can just run it through grammar, and it corrects it, gives you suggestions and how to correct your grammar, and which I greatly need. And it's just a really powerful tool. You do need to be connected to the internet because it connects to some server and everything else, but works really, really, really great. Let's talk about spreadsheets now. Okay? Whew, got rid of all kind of word processing stuff. Spreadsheets. So spreadsheets are, we start to get a little bit more difficult, but we have this awesome tool. SC, I used to use SC way back in the day, and now they have SC Improved. And it is improved because it supports Excel documents, current XLSX documents, as well as CSV documents, so that you can quickly import in, edit documents, create functions and calculations, and then save it back and export it out in that same document and then send it out. It can even support charts as well. So it's a really powerful tool. Now, if people are doing something like pivot tables and things like that, some of those things start getting lost in it. But here, let me demonstrate that, because that's kind of a quick little demo. I'll just show you how we can open up. So I can just do. There you go. I mean, it's as easy as that. And then you're in the document. It uses, and again, I'm a Vim guy, so it uses the Vim key bindings and everything else. And so you can go in and you can edit each cell and change it and do whatever you need to do with your Excel document. So kind of very cool that it supports that. Again, LibreOffice comes in. You can convert these things, right? So you can always convert it to a CSV file. You can edit it. I do a lot with CSV files in Vim, and sometimes that's quicker for me, or Python sometimes, and then I want to convert it back to where somebody else can read it. And anyway, LibreOffice is really good for being able to do that and converting back and forth on things. Now, PDFs. How do we view PDFs? We've done a little bit of this. And Ranger is a good tool. Kind of showed you some of the Ranger. And pretty good. Using LaTeX is great, and that creates PDFs. But, you know, if you're creating PDFs, other people can't edit it if that's what needs to be done. So just understand that that's a limitation of it. Now, to view these things, and this is where this one document's wrong. I didn't use Pandoc to do this. Anyway, but look at how I'm presenting this. This slide right here, these are images that I'm presenting. These are my slideshow is just, what I did was I used LibreOffice and did Markdown and converted over to a PowerPoint, then converted it to a PDF, and then I used ImageMagick, and that's where that's wrong. I didn't use Pandoc. I used ImageMagick to convert from PDF to images, to JPEGs. And what I'm showing you in the terminal now is JPEGs. And then how am I scrolling through these? Is I just created a little for loop that runs through each thing, and every time I hit enter, it progresses over to the next slide. Very easy. I have that as a little script. And actually, I just did that last night because I go like, I gotta do this in a good way. So I just kind of whipped that up together. It's very hacky, but it seems to work, right? Everyone liking the slides and everything else. So this is all in the Kitty terminal. Every slide I'm showing you, and they're just images that I converted over when I created these PowerPoint presentations. So really kind of cool there. All right, some other slide presentation tools here. PresTerm is a good one, and it supports images, and it's created strictly by text files. So you can always do this in the terminal. I used TPP for a long time. I really liked it. It didn't have any images, so I didn't use it this time around. It only uses the text that's actually in the terminal that is set and configured. So sometimes that can be really small, and sometimes I want really big text and things like that. So anyway, that's why I decided not to go with that today. But anyway, these are some good mentions if you want to do slide presentations. There is. Yeah, it's just cut off there, I think. Now, how do we manage online documents, right? If you're keeping documents, if you're using Google Docs, if you're using iCloud, if you're using OneDrive, can you sync and use those documents? Yeah, of course. You can do everything in the terminal. That's the purpose of this talk, right? And so our clone is awesome, guys, and it works with almost everything. Every service, other services I haven't even heard of, it works with, right? So I'm a big, I use a lot of Google stuff. And so I use Google Drive, and it's awesome. And I can sync, I can pull, I can push, I can list documents. And so here let me demonstrate that here a little bit here, just so you guys can see how easy. Let's see, and I take my notes just in case, because if I get a little nervous, I start not typing right, and demos don't always go well. I didn't put the one I wanted, but anyway, we'll try it out. Oh, I knew what I want. Let's see, this should list, oh yeah, there we go. So this is from my Google Drive, and the LSD is a list directories in the books folder that I have on my Google Drive. So these are the ebooks that I have. These are the different folders that I have listed there, and kind of really cool, right? And so I don't think I'll have time. Yeah, I'm running out of time here. So I'm not going to push and pull. I was going to demonstrate that too, but it's all here in this. Anyway, I can send that to you. I don't think I have it here in the slides, but I can send those to you. But it's well documented there, and rclone is really awesome to be able to do that. And literally, you can download it. So regardless of what it is, you can download it as almost as a conversion tool as well. So you can download things from Google Docs anyway as a docx file, as a PDF, as an image, and things like that. Really great. All you do is add the extension when you're pulling it, and then it converts it to that extension. It's really, really kind of cool. All right, another thing here, I just discovered this about 2-3 weeks ago. So if you have to create forums or surveys, sometimes that's done in an office and things like that. You know, where are we going for lunch? Vote for where, you know, and things like that, and SurveyMonkey and things like that. You can do this yourself through a bash terminal, through SSH. You don't even have to install anything, right? And it just all works through SSH. There are some of the commands. You can set up a survey in literally minutes, quicker than you can do on SurveyMonkey or some of these other tools that are out there. Super fast. You get the results. Then you send everybody just that link at the bottom, like SSHT for that, and whatever you're calling your survey. That one's called Hello World, and boom, they can do surveys, and then you can get the results. It's amazing, cool tool. Whoever created this. Anyway, I was going to demonstrate that. Note-taking, another thing, too. I live by Joplin. I was an Evernote person for a long time, and then, you know, weird things happened a few years ago. So I switched over to Joplin, and Joplin is great. It's open source. It's great. The reason I use that, it syncs to my phone. I can self-host the stuff if I want to, and it works really good. And there's a terminal app to it, as well as a GUI. And I'll show you. You guys can see my notes. Why not? Just don't tell anybody. There's my Joplin notes. These are my class. This is how I do my my lesson plans and my classes, and these are each of my classes here. And these are all broken out to my lectures that I give and everything else. So really kind of cool. If I knew how to get out of it. I can't get out, no. There we go. Whew. Just keep pounding buttons and it works, right? Jot, if you're a Obsidian person, Jot, haven't used it. I'm not an Obsidian person, but you can try that out. Obviously, there's some other options there, Simple Notes, a few others. Joplin was just super easy to set up, get going, running, has this app, syncs really well. So some other options. Calendar items, right? We have to calendar, we have to schedule appointments, we have to do things like that. One of the tools I've been using for a long time is gcalcli, and I think that's how you say it. And it syncs with my Google Calendar. I told you I'm a bit integrated into the Google infrastructure here. And it's a great tool. It's been using for years with these APIs, and it works really, really well. And because I want something that syncs. I have a big family, a bunch of kids, right? And they're all teenagers, and they have events, and I got to keep track of all that stuff as far as work stuff. And so I can just do that. And so my favorite feature, you can have different types of views. Like my favorite one is the agenda, where it just kind of, forgotten L, see? Dyslexia there. Just needs to connect to the web. So this gives me kind of, I think, a week out. It's connecting, there we go. And so here you go. So now you guys know where I'll be when I'm flying out. Hopefully it doesn't have my airline or anything in there. Parent-teacher conferences for my kids, all that kind of stuff are there as well. And again, you can add and edit right from the terminal using this too. You can add appointments, add reminders, schedule, everything can all be done and managed through this. Here's kind of like a weekly view. But you can do a month view, a day view, whatever you want, but like, there you go. Kind of really cool. It syncs to everything there. So I love that tool. Calcurus is another really good one. I haven't seen how it can sync with anything. I guess there's probably a way to do it. Also has a to-do built into it, which is really kind of nice. Reminds is a great tool. I'm kind of really running out of time. That's why I'm rushing and talking really fast and things like that. So really cool applications to kind of manage your time and things like that. And time tracking is a great thing. I've used both of these tools here. The first one, I don't know what it's called, BartIB, I don't know how to pronounce it. But anyway, I've used it great for tracking times. But if you're like tracking billable hours or chargeable hours or how much time you're working on a certain project, that is a great tool to do. And TaskWarrior is great for to-do listing. I used it for project management type stuff, for my own personal projects. I don't know how to do for large scale stuff, but for personal stuff, it worked really, really well. And I really liked it. And it has reporting features and everything on it. Really powerful tool. Love it. Browsing the internet. Right, how do we browse the internet? The modern internet, right? Well, if you want purely terminal, then BrowSH, which has Firefox backend on it, and it does support HTML5, JavaScript, some video. It's very pixelated. I can demonstrate it here because that's a quick one. Go to CNN.com or something like that, just because it's a short URL. You know, so you have something like that. It's very pixelated. You know, if you're sitting in the back of the room, it probably looks pretty good, right? At the front, it's probably like, what is going on there, right? So, yeah. Anyway. It's pretty good. There's some other options here. So if you want more Chromium type of backend, you can do that. And I know there's links too. I used to do that graphically. I couldn't find any documentation getting it to work currently, so I'm not going to demo that. But anyway, there's some other options out there too. Searching is really cool as well. So like if you just want to do a quick search, like my terminal's already open, right? I mean, I really only use two applications. I use a terminal, I use a browser, 99% of the time. And so my terminal's already open. I want to do a quick search. You can just do a quick search. And you can actually tie it to, I need to look because I don't always use it this way. So let me see, slide 29. I want to make sure I'm doing it right. I'll kind of show this. Just so you kind of see what it looks like. So you can define the browser. And we're going to use W3M, which is a terminal browser. And we're going to look up Linux, because we all like Linux, right? And there's your Google search. And then you can pick which option you want, and then it takes you to the particular web page. So if I pick 8, and it just takes you right to the web page. And it's super fast, right? If you're just doing text kind of stuff. So another one I can't get out of. All right. Social media. How do we do social media? Right? Well, we want to do social media. So here are some really good options. Newsboat is a great RSS feeder. Anyone use Newsboat? No? Yeah? No? Okay, a few people. It's great. Yeah, so for Reddit, the thing is with these, we used to have some really great tools just a few years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, where I posted to Facebook, Instagram, like all through a command terminal, but the APIs have changed. They made some other, anyway, they've messed everything up. They really don't like you using some of these third-party tools. Same thing with Twitter. Twitter's pretty much got rid of everything that's not their own stuff. But with Reddit, at least we can read things. You can't respond, you can't like, you can't do other things and interactions, but you can at least read it using Nerdspell. And then you can use some curl magic. I'm going to bring up curl a few times for some things. Curl's a fantastic tool to be able to do things. So for instance, you can check the status if Ninja is online and if he's currently live streaming, if you want to. And see, and there's the command there. I guess it's hidden there by the icon there. There is the Twitch TUI. I'm not really on Twitch all that much, so I haven't really tried that tool, but it looks pretty promising. So if you want to look at that stuff. I was going to demonstrate some of this, but again, not there. Another thing, I do use Discord a lot because a lot of my students use Discord. And so Discordo works great. Works perfectly. You can respond, you can interact, you can text, everything else. I think I can probably whip up that really quick here. I'm going to go into... Oh, I need to, I think, actually get into... Oh, I have to log in. I'm not going to waste time doing it. All right. Thought I did that before. All right. But anyway, it works really well. Email. We have to do email. We talked about email. And I've been a long-time Alpine user. I've used Mutt as well. Those are great tools. But I just found this, I don't know how to pronounce it, the AERC, Eric, is that how it's pronounced? The setup for it, so easy. Like literally, I did the setup for my Gmail. Like trying to set up Alpine and Mutt for Gmail, it takes a bit. Right? You can do it. Documentation out there isn't great. A lot of it's outdated because Google's changed things. Microsoft has changed things. And it gets a little tough. But to Eric, I guess is what I'm going to call it, works really great. Super simple. Has a great interface. Can do attachments, everything else. So I highly recommend it. Just trying to check my time here and gauge things a little bit. Okay, yeah, I got to keep going. All right. Radio, you can stream music, right? So Pi Radio is awesome. I'll actually play some of this because audio is kind of fun. I think I can do this fairly quickly. Now, I don't have a Spotify Premium account, and it seemed like a lot of the popular streaming like Spotify, Google Music, YouTube, you have to have premium pay accounts. I don't have pay accounts for any of those. I stream free music, I guess, or have what I have. So I wasn't able to test those, but I researched them. They look pretty good and pretty valuable. But I want to show you the Pi Radio. That should be really quick here. And what it looks like, and you just pick a station. I can't see that because it's really weird background. And I play it. Oh, Slay Radio. I don't know what that is, so hold on. So can you guys hear it? It's not very Slay. There's something playing there. All right, anyway. Oh, let me show you MPV too. And that one I know works. So if you want local, like if you have your own stuff, you can play local stuff here. I'm going to play some AC/DC. I can play. You can make playlists, you can do all sorts of things. So you play music on the command line. It's the coolest thing ever, right? If you can do that. All right, watching YouTube. This is one I really want to show you because this is a great one. This is how do we watch YouTube? Clear quality, stream YouTube without ads. That's a big thing right now, right? There's no ads. Oh, without ads, right? Yes, YouTube X. Oh my gosh, amazing, right? It is great. Let me demonstrate it. Gotta get in the right. Oh yeah, gotta remember what directory I have it in. And the thing, now this is not necessarily in repositories, but there's the GitHub page, and you just literally download it, and the executable's there, and you run the executable. That's why I'm just running it from a folder, and it's really kind of cool. Look at that. So it instantly comes up. We can do a search. There's a search. I'll type Linux for the search. There it is. It's finding Linux videos for me, or it should. Boom, there are my Linux videos. Which one looks good? Stages of using Linux. Yeah, sure, why not? I don't know. I haven't previewed any of these, guys, so I don't know if there's anything scary coming up. And then you just click watch. Oh, wait. Wait. It works better in the Kitty terminal. Sorry. So let me switch back to that. Because it works really well. I'm not used to having a bunch of people watch me type, so. There we go. Okay, we'll do this again. We'll search again. We'll type Linux. Come on. There we go. We'll do the stages of Linux, and we want to watch that. And depending on the internet speed and what we got here. What? No, this is why you don't do live demonstrations. Oh my gosh. Disappointed me. Let's see if it's another video. Why I'm ditching Firefox. Ooh, controversial. Let's see. Come on, guys. All right, it works. I swear it worked last night and it worked just this morning. That's why you don't do demos. Anyway, it comes up clear picture. It really does. I don't know. I'll figure it out 5 minutes after this is over, and I'm sure it'll work perfectly. Drives me nuts. That's the one I was most excited about. All right. Anyway, it does work. Anyway, YouTube download is really good as well, and you use that for your own videos, right? I just want to make sure I cover myself here legally. Only use them for your own videos. All right. T-Image is another image viewer. That's in there. I think I've already showed you some images, how to do it with iCat, kind of the same thing, using the Kitty terminal. FFmpeg. So how do we record video? You want to create your YouTube videos, put them up on YouTube. You want to record your screen and you talking. You want to be a Linux YouTuber. Here you go. All you need is FFmpeg. Great tool. Can do tons and tons of stuff. There are some commands to actually record your screenshot, record from the webcam if you want. Create videos. There's lots it can do. That's like, we can spend a week talking about FFmpeg and all the stuff it can do. But I just wanted to get you guys started here. Now how about, we don't have Zoom. There's no Zoom client for the command line. So how do we have remote meetings? Well, this gets, right, we have to put together a bunch of different tools to kind of get this going, right? So tmux, which is a multiplexer, divides up your screen, but you can also share. So if you're on a LAN and you need to share your terminal, tmux is great. I give you the instructions on how to do that there. But what if you're over the internet? Here's Teammate. I've used this with students. Like when I'm conferencing with them and I just use Teammate, I send them a URL and boom, they come up and they can see my terminal remotely. Now, what if you want to have voice as well? So Twilio has a command line tool. There is a cost for making phone calls. But you can make phone calls through a terminal application using Twilio, okay? Chat, if you need to chat, use IRC. Super easy to set up, man. I use Arisi. It's a great tool. There's hundreds of other ones out there you can use. That's just the one I tend to use. Now, if you need to share files, I just discovered this a week or so ago about GSocket. Is anyone familiar with GSocket? You can transfer files behind routers. Super easy. Like no port forwarding, no nothing. It's great. You can share folders and things like that. I don't know how they do it, but it's really, really good. Also, another thing is I've just kind of gotten into Tailscale. Tailscale is another option, does very similar things where you can share files, share folders. They're here in the exhibit. They didn't pay me for this. I'm just a happy customer of theirs, and it's free. It's set up. You can add people to your network securely to share whatever you want to share as well. But I didn't put them on the slide. So collaboration, you kind of have to use a bunch of these other tools. But you can do voice and share screen and chat and share files. Really easy. You just have to use a bunch of tools kind of all at the same time. Okay, multiplexers are great. If you're familiar with multiplexers, I started out with Screen back in the day. Screen is great, and then tmux came along, added some extra features, and I really IntelliJ, I think it's what it's called. IntelliJ, and is great. It just has additional features as well. I can show you if people aren't familiar with it. So what it does is does that, and then you can split your, you can open up another screen, all that you want. It has the nice little menu down at the bottom, which I know you can do with the Tmux and some others. But anyway, I think it's really kind of cool, and it has some additional features which are really good, and you can start splitting up your screen and resizing them any way you want. Anyway, so I'm calling that window management. In quotations there. Now, this is where my dyslexia comes in because this slide's wrong too. It's not ESP, it's EPY. I don't know where I got that from. Anyway, so that slide's wrong. But I like to read. I'm a slow reader, but if you're into ebooks, I have a bunch of ebooks. This is a great way to read online. And it works really, really well. I think, oh man, okay, I'm over time. I can't show you. All right, let's go through this. I have like 10 slides. I'll go through in about 2 seconds each. All right, DistroBox, amazing. If you want to try other distros that integrate with things, awesome. I did some of my stuff in DistroBox here today. Really, really good. Again, you can get these slides from, just go to the talk page for scale, and you can download these things. The weather, you get really nice, accurate weather, really good. I even built an alias for that command there at the top, that curl command, and I just type weather, and boom, I get current weather. It's awesome. And you can get it in a week, you can get just the day, you can get all the stuff. You can actually do the moon phases and stuff. Really kind of awesome. I teach networking as well, besides Linux administration, and so I just added this in here. SIP Calc, I guess is what it is, and subnetting calculator. It's really kind of cool. I used to use BC for a long time, but now I just use Python. Like I've just aliased the P key to go to Python shell, and I just do everything in Python shell. It's super easy. Everything else. System monitoring. Anyone ever see BashTop? Yeah, if you haven't seen it, it's kind of, there's top, there's HTOP, and then there's BashTop, and there's a few others. But this one you can really theme. Wow, that really looks bad in this theme with this background. But anyway, so that's really ugly. I usually have a dark theme going in there. There's cool AI tools. Whoops, I got 1 minute. Password manager, Bitwarden. Any Bitwarden people? Awesome, right? Command line. They have cool command line tools. Packet capture. Here's just a bunch of fun stuff, so I won't go over these. Bunch of games. You can play games. You can play Tetris if you want. Word games. Anyway. There's all the resources. There's questions. That's me. I'm done. All right.
Yeah, give it up. That's great. That is a lot of information, Jared. Thank you for coming in and sharing that with us. We do have about 10 minutes for question and answers. I am going to ask 2 things, though. 1, please wait for the microphone before asking your question. And number 2, please limit just to 1 question at a time. We have a pretty packed house, so we'd like to get as many questions in as we can. All right? 1 moment, please.
Thank you for your talk.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I didn't have a chance to look it up, but do either of those YouTube downloaders allow you to download just the audio of the
Yes.
Rather than just audio and video, and then post-processing extract the audio? I didn't see it on the screen, but I could look up the command line option, but I thought I would ask.
Absolutely. You can convert 2 things. I'd say I know people, maybe people I'm related to, that download, that's how they get their MP3s on local devices. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed that you didn't have your executables in your bin directory. Why not?
It was for demonstration purposes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's the
next
only reason.
question. 1 second.
Great talk. I was curious, what authentication methods are needed with rclone and GCal CLI?
So I have 2-factor authentication. So you do have to go and get the secret key for rclone to work, and then it just connects directly. Makes it really easy. Yeah.
Your website's a terminal.
Yes.
Pretty dope. Quick question, where is this presentation in your terminal?
It's not on my website. I will put it into my website. Oh, what do you mean? This?
If I want this presentation, because I can't type that fast, where would I get it?
Yeah, so you go to the scale site, you look
Oh.
up this talk, and then at the bottom, it's attached there.
Got it. Thank you.
Yep,
Okay. Any more questions?
behind you.
Oh, sorry.
Over there.
There we go.
When you're using the terminal browsers, how safe are those? Like if you go to a bad site,
Yeah.
what are the chances of getting infected? Is it, like I use links usually when I want to check out a site.
Correct. Yeah, and those are good, just the text-based ones that don't support JavaScript or things like that. I don't know if I can really speak to the safety of it. I think all browsers kind of suck and need improvement, but as it relates to that.
For the Gmail client, does it support two-factor at all?
Yes, I actually have two-factor. Yep, definitely does.
Have you ever been like banned from a service for potentially violating a TOS like Discord or something?
Not that I know of.
Hey, I don't want to be that guy who's doing like, have you heard about this program? But I was curious if you had used Yazi before.
Yes.
Y-A-Z-I. Yeah, and I noticed that wasn't in your file browsers, and I was curious if there was a reason, like if you just didn't know about it, or.
No, I'm familiar with it. Yeah, but I don't know the reason. I just find what I first find and use. Yep. So nothing against it.
The Google Drive aspect of it, do you know if it would support a cron job to automatically transfer files?
Absolutely. Actually, I've set up cron jobs to just push stuff up there, particularly backups. Yep.
Where do you get this list? Well, how did you acquire this list of programs? There's so many that,
Yes.
nobody seems to find them all. So how did you find these?
Correct. So, over 10, 15 years ago, I just put my own list together. And this is really before even GitHub was around and things like that. And so I actually created my own site, and I set it up, and I listed it, and I logged it. But it's really hard to keep up to date with all that stuff. And eventually in GitHub, I transferred it over to GitHub, and my life is busy, so you can still probably find it out there, but it's way out to date. But other people are doing it too. So actually in the presentation, if we go, can we go back? This guy right here, he has a really good list. It's not as comprehensive as mine was, but it's a really good list broken out by tasks. And so, and then there's another companion one that's for TUI. Like this is strictly command line, and then you have TUI as well. Anyway, some more enkissers. So anyway, that's where I've used that resource quite a bit.
Okay, we have about 5 more minutes. Any questions? Any more questions? Okay, here we go.
Hi, my question is there any applications that you used to use that are like that you used to like that are no longer supported, or you wish they were still supported?
Yes, there are. I don't use social media a lot, but there's a Twitter client that was really good called Rainbow that I wish was still supported. And the Facebook command is FBCMD, I think, and it worked on multi-platform, and it was really good to post, get results, just to automate some of the social media stuff if you wanted to, or pull down certain queries and things like that. It was a really cool tool, but it's not supported anymore. Yeah.
Do you know of a graphing calculator from command line?
Python. Yeah, that's what I've used before for data stuff and to create charts. I don't know.
Hi there. I'm totally blind, and of course, using LYNX, most of the time I can't prove that I'm not a robot. There's not even a link to it, so I'm out of luck. It used to be where there'd be like a math problem on the screen, but there's not even that anymore. And that Brow SH you mentioned doesn't work with a screen reader, so that's what can I say?
Yeah, I appreciate you mentioning that. Yeah, I didn't really look at accessibility stuff. And I don't know which tools work with eSpeak and which don't, so, yeah. Thank you. Any other questions? Comments, feedback? Thank you.
Let's give him another round of applause.